Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Oscar De La Hoya, he just put out this post. He said, I'm the pay-per-view king, and Canelo versus Edgar Berlanga fight will not exceed 100,000 homes. Nobody is paying $90 for this snooze fest. Just speaking the facts as always. Edgar Berlanga, he clapped back by saying, you are not the pay-per-view king. Floyd Mayweather is your daddy. Well, there's no doubt about it that Floyd Mayweather, he has all of the pay-per-view records. And most likely none of those records will ever be broken. You know, I find it really remarkable that outside of Oscar De La Hoya, with Canelo Alvarez being one of the biggest stars in the sport of boxing, if you think about it, no one really holds him at a high standard when it comes to expectations of his pay-per-view buys. But if you notice, when it comes to fighters on the coincidental list, like Gervonta Tank Davis, Devin Haney, Terrence Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, these fighters are put at the highest standard when it comes to expectations of the gate, expectations of the pay-per-view buys, even if some of them have never been called a pay-per-view star. The only one that's a pay-per-view star right now is Gervonta. You've never heard me say that Terrence Crawford is a pay-per-view star, Shakur Stevenson, or anybody else, even Devin Haney. So there's really no high expectations. I'm talking about like serious, ridiculous high expectations when these guys are fighting on pay-per-view or they're forced to take a fight on pay-per-view, which is sometimes the case. I remember a long time ago when Terrence Crawford was still fighting on HBO. Now, I believe he was fighting against Victor Postal, and that fight was on pay-per-view. And it made absolutely no sense for that fight to be on pay-per-view. Well, it turns out the reason why that fight was on pay-per-view because HBO, they did not want to pay for that fight. So they forced Top Rank to put the fight on pay-per-view. When it comes to Canelo Alvarez, because he is considered to be a pay-per-view star. For those of you guys saying that Canelo Alvarez is the face of boxing, but yet when it comes to his pay-per-view buys or how many people show up to watch his fights, you guys don't even care. You don't even talk about it. Oscar De La Hoya says that Canelo Alvarez is not even going to do 100,000 pay-per-view buys for this fight. Now, I don't know if they're going to be that low. I do believe that they'll exceed 100,000, but that's still a failure for Canelo Alvarez. And not to mention, it really doesn't matter if he does 100,000 or 300,000. DAZN is not going to reveal the numbers unless the fight is a complete, huge success financially, which this fight is not going to be. When you get some guy on Twitter saying, hey guys, I'm hearing that the numbers are 500,000 or I'm hearing that the numbers are this and that, those are fake reports. When you try to search for what the pay-per-view buys was, and the only thing that pops up is people on Reddit talking about the pay-per-view buys or some other boxing forum where they're talking about the results, that means that there is no official report of the pay-per-view numbers. In terms of revenue, Canelo has been on the decline ever since he lost to Veiw. Now, if Canelo would have gave Veiw a rematch, that would have been a huge success when it comes to pay-per-view buys. And when I say a huge success, I mean a huge success for Canelo, which would be something way under 1 million pay-per-view buys. Floyd Mayweather's lowest pay-per-view buys was usually around 1 million. And if you guys notice, back in Floyd Mayweather's era, when he fought the same opponents that Oscar faced, when he fought the same opponents that Manny Pacquiao faced, Floyd Mayweather destroyed them when it comes to his pay-per-view buys versus theirs. So the point I'm making right now is Canelo Alvarez's best pay-per-view buys would be Floyd Mayweather's worst pay-per-view buys. But because Canelo, by his own admission, he can fight whoever he wants, means that he has the opportunity to produce way better pay-per-view buys. But he's not willing to do that because that's too much of a threat. It's too much of a risk for him to take. Like I said, a rematch with Veiw would have been better pay-per-view buys. A fight against David Benavidez or Terrence Crawford would be a big pay-per-view event. If Canelo would have fought Demetrius Andrade to unify the titles at 160, that would have been a big pay-per-view event. Same with Jamal Charlo at 160. The truth is, all of these fighters, they want to be like Floyd Mayweather in every way, including Canelo Alvarez. But they want to try to do it without taking the risk that Floyd Mayweather had to take, which is impossible. That's what fighters like Teofimo Lopez is trying to do right now. And this man is damn near fighting in high school basketball courts. Teo wants to be a star so bad while fighting the weakest opposition while constantly cherry-picking his opponents. That's why he's not doing the type of numbers that Devin Haney was doing, Javante does, even Shakur Stevenson. Same goes for Gennady Golovkin. HBO, who let the Michael Jordan of boxing go, Floyd Mayweather. After disrespecting him for years, he was the Cinderella man on that network. You see, HBO, they took a gamble on race and it didn't pay off for them. What I mean by that is when Showtime presented Floyd Mayweather this huge offer to go ahead and sign with them, Floyd Mayweather, he had been fighting on HBO that whole time, but he was never contracted to fight with them. HBO never signed Floyd Mayweather to the network. He was a free agent all that time he was working with them. So even though Floyd Mayweather, he knew that the HBO network, Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant, they hated his guts, Floyd Mayweather was still loyal and respectful enough after he was offered this huge deal by Showtime. Floyd Mayweather, he still came back to HBO before he signed that deal, and he told them to make him an offer. He told them, look, I got this offer from Showtime. You guys never wanted to sign me. Do you want to sign me now? And HBO, they said, no, you could go to Showtime. And that is exactly what Floyd Mayweather did, which was the demise of HBO boxing. It's complete poetic justice. You see, around this time, this was the emergence of social media. And HBO, like a lot of old media members, they allowed social media to impair their vision because they started to listen to what a lot of these race fans were saying on the internet, which is like 80% of boxing fans. So HBO started to pay attention to how much these fans were loving Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev. So this is how HBO looked at it. They felt if Floyd Mayweather can be the biggest star in the sport of boxing, and we don't even like Floyd Mayweather, imagine if we got a fighter to replace him that has the complexion for the protection. Imagine if we got a fighter that all of these race fans actually adore. And that's when HBO tried to pass the torch to Gennady Golovkin. And that torch ended up burning down that whole ship and sinking it. Because to be as successful as Floyd Mayweather, or even 70% as successful as Floyd Mayweather was, you have to fight the level of opposition that Floyd Mayweather fought his entire career, which is something that Golovkin was not willing to do. It doesn't matter how many knockouts you're getting if you're fighting against tomato cans. Golovkin had an opportunity to fight pound for pound the best fighter in the world, who also fought on HBO, Andre Ward. And he avoided Andre his entire career. Those are the fights that you have to take to transition, to catapult yourself into superstar status. I'm talking about real superstar status. Now, of course, Canelo Alvarez's situation is the most unique because he's the only fighter I know in the history of the sport that became a superstar just by losing to a superstar in Floyd Mayweather. And it's just so funny how things work in the sport of boxing. Because, of course, before Canelo fought against Floyd Mayweather, all of the Mexican fans, they hated Floyd Mayweather, calling him names like gay runner and talking about he can't punch, he has no power, he has no heart. But then when this 36-year-old Floyd Mayweather is fighting against Canelo, who outweighs him by 15 to 20 pounds, stands in front of Canelo almost the whole night of the fight, even backing up Canelo at times, beats the shit out of Canelo in a very, very one-sided fight. Now Mexicans want to praise Canelo for losing to Floyd Mayweather. Now they want to say stuff like, oh, well, he only lost to Floyd Mayweather. Of course, this was before Veiw. They'll say, yeah, he only lost to Floyd Mayweather, but everybody loses to Floyd Mayweather. Look at how good Floyd is. So that's a badge of honor for you to lose to someone like Floyd. That's how they talk now. But if we go off of what y'all was saying before about Floyd Mayweather, then that means Canelo, he was supposed to win that fight easy. It was supposed to be one-sided the other way. He fighting against someone who's weak, can't punch, and doesn't have that Mexican heart, right? You guys can't have it both ways. The truth is, Canelo Alvarez is just somebody, especially Mexicans in particular, they just wanted him to be that Mexican version of Floyd Mayweather. But he can never be that. I see these Mexicans in my comment section saying, Canelo, he's just doing everything that Floyd Mayweather did. If Canelo Alvarez did everything Floyd Mayweather did, he would have at least about 4 losses on his record right now, and he would have never became any kind of star. Floyd, he started his career at 130. moved all the way up to 147. Everybody Floyd Mayweather fought at 147 was way bigger than him. They were all stronger than him, and he beat them all, dominated them all. So Floyd is used to fighting against bigger, stronger opponents. Canelo, on the other hand, he said he doesn't want to fight David Benavidez because he's too big, saying all he brings to the table is 25 pounds. Canelo is the power puncher, not Floyd Mayweather. Floyd wasn't known for his power. Canelo is known for his power. He's supposed to be the main person and the first person to jump in the ring with some other guy who has power or someone else who has a size advantage. You're supposed to be the first one to do that, not Floyd Mayweather. So no, we know for a fact Canelo Alvarez, he is not trying to do everything that Floyd Mayweather did. Man, if David Benavidez was in Floyd Mayweather's division when Floyd Mayweather was fighting, do you guys know how quick, do you guys know how desperate Floyd Mayweather would be to make that fight on a Mexican holiday? Man, if Floyd was in Canelo's shoes right now, it would be Floyd pushing for the David Benavidez fight. Hell, David himself might be saying, I'm not ready for that fight yet. Did y'all see how excited Floyd Mayweather was at the press conference promoting the Canelo fight? I don't know if you guys remember this, but Mexican fans were accusing Floyd of ducking Canelo before that fight came to fruition. Man, Floyd was so happy that he got that fight because he knew how easy the fight was going to be. And he would have felt the same way if he was in Canelo's shoes right now and could get the David Benavidez fight. Because in all honesty, David Benavidez's style would be tailor-made for Floyd Mayweather. With that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.
All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called LO Key Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to LODkey.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.